White House and President Donald Trump have just announced a 25% additional tariff on India for importing Russian oil. This was unexpected lines, but the fact that it's come today and the tariff rate that's been announced at 25% is also quite substantially high. In fact, it makes it the highest. India will be the highest tariff country along with Brazil at 50%. And Brazil was for purely political reasons. Mr. Trump said so in his many words. I think it was clear over the last few days from the very strident position taken by both sides, both by the public statements put out by the White House, by President Trump himself, and also the statement that came out from the MEA a couple of days ago, where it was very clear that there was a fundamental breakdown of communication, there was a breakdown of back-channel negotiations, and dare I say, even a breakdown of trust between India and the United States. Effectively, what President Trump has done is he's sort of, thrown the gauntlet at India. And India, I don't think, will be in a position now to try and go back to agreeing to any kind of deal with the United States. So right now, this is where things are stuck. It's at a stalemate. Although I must add, it's a 4-page order that's been put up on the White House website. There is one fine print in that, which I think is important to underline, and that is the order will effectively sort of come into play, will come into effect 21 days from now. So today is the 6th of August. So effectively this order will start getting implemented on the ground from the 27th of August, 21 days from now, which is giving both sides a little bit of elbow room to try and find a common ground, if at all they can, in the next 20 days, in the next 3 weeks. The next U.S. negotiating team visit to India is slated for the 25th of August, if I'm not mistaken. So effectively, these tariffs, the secondary tariffs on importing Russian oil, will only come into effect from the 27th of August. So they still have some time to try and see if they can negotiate and find some kind of a negotiated middle ground. But right now, it looks very, very difficult because of the public pronouncements, both from the White House as well as, of course, the very no-nonsense statement that was put out by the Ministry of External Affairs a couple of nights ago. This has got to be easily the lowest point in the bilateral relationship between America and India. We've had a strategic partnership for the last 25 years, 20 plus years certainly, and this is the lowest in that strategic partnership, simply because no one quite expected that President Trump would treat India in such an unfair manner, really, because India was one of the first countries to try and kick off the negotiations with the Trump team. In fact, Prime Minister Modi met President Trump early in February, one of the first world leaders to do so at the White House. A few days, I think within a few days of President Trump coming into office for a second term. And both sides were very hopeful that if not a full deal, which was supposed to be negotiated by the fall, at least a partial deal, an interim deal can be figured out. But unfortunately, that's not come to pass, and India will now go as among one of the highest tariff countries in the world, like I said, on par with Brazil at 50%. But we'll have to wait and see how the story progresses. It's not just about the tariffs. It's not just about how much India is getting tariffed, whether it's the primary tariffs of 25% or the secondary tariffs now for import of Russian oil. But it's also the double standard and the unfair treatment that India feels the Trump administration has meted out to a very strong and strategic partner in India. And I think that is something of grave concern. There's a feeling of certainly disappointment, if not betrayal, in South Bloc right now, and certainly over the last few days, given the behavior of the Trump administration.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.